Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So today, I want to talk about this event. Actually, there's a couple events that can send or drive Bitcoin much higher to 100,000 plus. So what are these events? Let's take a look. Welcome, guys. Happy Saturday, wherever you may be. Bitcoin is holding pretty well above 29,000. It's starting to flatline a little bit. A lot less volatility like this, right? And that's good. Bitcoin is getting ready, consolidating for the next leg up. But what are these two big events, or one event, that I'm talking about? Well, this came out, okay, today. And I told you guys days ago, earlier last week, that First Republic is going to go under, okay? It is going to go under. And I've said that before. People thought, no, there's no way they could go under. Well, like I said, FDIC is preparing to take it over. That's exactly what's happening right now, okay? FDIC, along with the Treasury and the Fed, they are figuring out how to basically just take over the bank. And it was rumored already this was going to happen on Friday night. So First Republic stock went down another. The day on Friday already went down 43%. And then after this word broke out that it was going to happen, it went down another 33% in the aftermarket. Okay, so basically this bank is done. Hopefully you guys have been listening to what I've been covering about First Republic. So if you have your money in there, you should have taken it out already, but if you hadn't, you should be okay still. I'm pretty sure FDIC will help most people. However, remember FDIC insurance is only up to $250,000. So if you had more, well, you may be out of luck. We'll see. We'll see. It's happening. It happened earlier this year. So I said, you know, bank woes, bank problems are not going to go away anytime soon. But here's the thing. This may make things much, much worse. Jim Cramer. We know Jim Cramer was a big fan of First Republic just a few months ago. And since then, First Republic has bankrupted itself. Jim Cramer said, the collapse of First Republic Bank could mark the end of the banking crisis. And I know we like to joke about Inverse Cramer, but Inverse Cramer has been absolutely 100% correct in all these bold predictions. Just like when he predicted it was time to sell Bitcoin because he believes it's going to go under again, or whatever reason he gave, right? That was earlier this year, and Bitcoin started pumping right afterwards. Just like when he said First Republic Bank is good, and then it started collapsing afterwards. And now if he's saying that the banking crisis is over, well, that could be a really good indication that the banking crisis is just about to begin. And if you have a lot more banks falling starting from now, and FDIC and Fed and Treasury departments, you know, they're trying to plug everything, right? Guess what? That's going to happen. What's going to happen? It's going to drive a lot more people to Bitcoin. Okay, so that's one major event that's already happening. That banks are still not healthy, and remember, the Fed during the next FOMC meeting within I think the next week or two, he has to decide. Chair Powell has to decide whether or not he's going to continue to raise rates. Supposedly, he told a fake Zelensky that he was going to do 2 more, right? But you know, the banks are really struggling. Rates are not going to help them. They're only going to hurt them further, right? So this is one event that could be driving Bitcoin much, much higher. People don't want to hear about banks, the institutions that that's been holding their money for their whole life. People don't want to hear that, right? But it absolutely happens all the time. The guys that are supposed to be the smartest on the planet with money, well, you know what? they go under. They go under too. So that's one major event. Now, the second major event that is also coming up that could be even worse for the U.S., but even better for Bitcoin, and that is our debt ceiling. There's real scare right now that the U.S., that Congress will not be able to vote and raise the debt ceiling. And if U.S. defaults on its debt, Bitcoin could jump up 70% according to Standard Chartered. But that would only be the beginning, because they also said that Bitcoin can reach $100,000, right? And that definitely could happen. Now, if people can't trust their banks, they have to be able to trust their government, right? But if the U.S. defaults on its debt, which basically says to the world that, hey, you can't trust the U.S. anymore because we just keep on overspending and we can't pay back. We can't pay back the interest, and we can't pay back what's owed to other countries. Well, that's going to send the U.S. on a death spiral downwards. Our credit rating turns junkish, and people are going to take their money out of bonds and notes. And where else they're going to put it? If they can't put it into banks, well, they're going to be putting it in Bitcoin. That's where it's going, right? So this is also something major that's brewing right now. Whether or not we will be lifting our debt ceiling in this country, or we will face the consequences. Now, there's consequences to both. Even if you lift the ceiling, it may seem like, yeah, the troubles are over. No, that just gives us more leeway to overspend even further and print more money and lead on this path, I guess, of never-ending inflation. It'll never stop. It'll just keep going. It'll just keep going and going and going. So either way, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, but at least one gives you a little bit more leeway to operate. Another one sends you down a death spiral. So I honestly think they will, at last minute, raise the debt ceiling. But regardless, both options help Bitcoin. One helps it more short-term. One helps it more long-term. So these events, I believe, will send Bitcoin higher to 100,000. I think that's only the beginning. Standard Chartered, which is a British bank, they've been very bullish on crypto. Their advisor, their CEO, even the CEO of Standard Chartered came out and said, I believe the banking crisis is not over. And guess what? Not only are they putting out articles like that, but they're putting their money where their mouth is. They just raised $36 million because they're coming out with their own crypto custody service. Okay, so they're not just saying it. They're actually doing something about it. And why do you think like BlackRock and Fidelity and all these big boys, asset managers, funds, why are they all loading up on Bitcoin? Because their analysts are probably all seeing the same thing. Banks are not doing so well. And you know what? The U.S. debt ceiling and inflation and what Powell's doing, you know what? None of those things are good overall, long term. But what are they good for? Driving people towards financial freedom, towards self-custody, towards basically something better, something that could generate generational wealth. That's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin right there. And also, not that I'm a fan of PayPal, right? But PayPal and Venmo, they are opening up so that their wallet, their crypto wallet, can now be used to well, now you can have deposits out, withdrawals from it. So it's more decentralized, so to speak. A little bit. It's still controlled by PayPal, so it's not completely decentralized, but at least they give you the option to withdraw to your own self-custody wallet. So overall, that's pretty good. PayPal, regardless if you hate them or not, they are absolutely huge in the financial world, the biggest payment app, financial app there is, right? And the fact that they are now allowing everyone to be able to withdraw into something like Trust Wallet or Coinbase Wallet, RX Wallet, any of these self-custody wallets, right? Absolutely fantastic and will drive more people to safeguard their own crypto. So all good stuff. All good stuff. And what else is good stuff? Well, right now, this is what's happening. You look at 2022, 2023, and then you look at 2014, 2015. It's almost identical in terms of our pattern. I mean, there's a lot of fractal patterns. And yes, I agree. If you look long enough, you'll find what you're looking for, right? But there's just too many similarities right now between our current cycle and the 2019 cycle and the 2015 cycle. There's just so many similarities, right? It's so many that you can't discount them all. And plus, the macro conditions definitely help. The banking crisis, the debt ceiling, overspending, inflation, these are all things that are helping the Bitcoin narrative. So, good stuff. And then eventually, this is what we have to look forward to, right? The patterns, they're real. They're absolutely real. Look at this. 420 days after the peaks in all three cycles, basically, that was an indication of absolute bottom. And then afterwards, you just start rising and rising and rising and rising. Yes, even though there's volatilities. When you zoom out, you don't really notice it. But in between, yes, there's some major dips and valleys and you know, there's a lot of volatility. But long term, this is what we have to look forward to. Okay? Bitcoin making that generational wealth. Crypto following in its footsteps. Right? Where will Bitcoin end up? 250,000, 300,000, 400,000, $1 million someday, right? That's why 100,000 is only the beginning. Only the beginning. We have a lot more to go afterwards. All right. So that's Bitcoin. Got a couple of alt news. I know a lot of you guys are SHIB fans. So SHIB Bridge is almost done. I'm still waiting for dApps to come on board in Shibarium. I don't hear about it at all. Like, I know it's out, but I don't hear anyone saying I'm officially moving to Shibarium. There's one meme coin that says they're doing it. They haven't done it yet. But I mean, at least the SHIB team is building out functionality. They're trying to build out this bridge already. So that's pretty good. But once dApps actually come on board Shibarium, I think that's going to be pretty darn good. And again, all this is making SHIB less and less like a meme coin and more like a full-fledged chain with a lot of utility, right? And recently, Binance.com, no, not Binance.com, Binance.us also listed Floki. Not that I'm getting behind Floki, but, you know, meme coins, they have huge communities and drive a ton of people into this space. So they serve their purpose, but SHIB does seem like they are standing out. Also, as for Cardano, Cardano is also branching out. They're getting into a gaming, well, at least one of their dApps is, or NFT projects is. Dead Pixels is going to build their own first massive game and bring it into Cardano ecosystem. Cardano, even though it has not been moving much, Cardano seems like it's very slow at times, and they are still building out their governance system. People are still getting used to how to build DEXs and DeFi in Cardano, but they have a ton of volume. Volume, activity, GitHub commits are all skyrocketing, so no one is really giving up on Cardano at this point, other than maybe retail investors, but the development base is still very strong indeed. And then the last thing, I saw this, MasterCard and Visa, which one day will be replaced by a decentralized network. Well, in the meantime, they're both experimenting. Visa is experimenting doing settlements on top of Ethereum, and now MasterCard is launching a Web3 user verification solution that verifies whether or not users are legit. It's like a digital ID system. So, I mean, even MasterCard and Visa are getting into the game. They know that this is the future. you don't want to be left out. You don't want to just say, I'm just going to ignore them. They're going to amount for nothing. No, it's starting to happen already, right? It's all great news, massive news. It's the beginning of something that we can't even possibly imagine. Web 3, when it's truly done, will be nothing like what it is now. And then imagine after that, Web 4, Web 5, whatever. I mean, it's going to be very different than the landscape we have today. So just think about that, how early we still are and how much more is coming. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. Let's leave this thought on the screen. Do a Q&A. I want to remind you guys, tonight will be the second episode to FOMO or Pass, and this week's is not going to be a game, and it's actually, I think it's a pretty interesting project. A lot of you guys, I think, will enjoy it, so make sure you stay tuned for that tonight. Also, a lot of you guys missed the second episode of DeFi Friday with Aaron. Highly suggest you guys look at it. This one is dumbed down, and it really goes into why liquidity providers are needed. It goes over how to utilize DEXs like Uniswap and GMX, right? And kind of explains everything for those of you guys that are too embarrassed to ask about DEXs and how they operate. So I highly suggest you guys watch that as well. But tonight, second episode of FOMO or Pass is coming. All right, now scrolling down here. S Money Gaming, you think Shibarium will be huge? It can be. It can be. There's so many people that hold on SHIB and love SHIB. There are a lot of people I meet. You know, that's how they got into the space, SHIB. So I'm really hoping that they can draw in a lot of dApps to Shibarium. Don't ask me about the latest meme coins like Baby, Pepe, or whatever. No, I'm not going to be following them. If you want to gamble, okay, you want to put a little amount into Pepe or whatever spurs from it, feel free to do so, but be very careful. They could dump very quickly. Most of them are rugs. Okay, so just be careful. You don't realize how huge Polygon is, don't you? The fees, are you talking to me or someone else? Hopefully you're not talking to me. I know you're a regular here, so hopefully you're not pointing that towards me. And today overall we're up a little bit. That's good. I don't know why this keeps resetting. It's getting annoying. I don't want to see 1 hour. There you go. A lot of green today. A lot of green. Muka says, for those who have funds locked in Vault, there's a channel called Vault Creditors Alliance. They are doing amazing work to retrieve our funds. Thanks for sharing that. I actually don't know what's been happening with them, so thanks for sharing that. Everyone should go take a look. Man, yesterday, watching the Lakers destroy the Grizzlies, that was very satisfying. What happened to Dylan Brooks? He said he's not impressed until he sees 40, and that's exactly how much the Lakers beat the Grizzlies by yesterday. Lakers are on a roll. Lakers are hard to stop. They could go all the way. And if someone earlier asked me about Milwaukee losing to Miami, I didn't even realize that they were the #1 seed. You know, I thought maybe, you know, it's just a tough series, but they were a #1 seed that lost to like a 7 seed. The Heat, I mean, that was embarrassment. So I changed my mind on it, right? Whatever the reporters asked Giannis, like, oh, do you think this season is a failure? It is a failure. Like, I'm changing my tune on that. I'm guessing you changed your mind, Gala, after the chat jumped on you. No, I didn't. Those I argue against are still idiots because they don't even care about the fundamentals. They just care about, oh yeah, Gala will do a 50x. And if you don't agree with that, then you're bearish on Gala. As if that was a good argument. So, no. My mind didn't change. I never got bearish on Gala. I just feel like a 50x is unreasonable. And if you think that that's me being bearish, well, that means you also get banned from this channel. What's their opinion on Sol? Is it dead? No, it's not dead. If it was dead, it would not be clinging on to the top or the 10th spot. Okay? It's not dead. It's just that it got weaker. That's all. They don't really have a lot of DeFi activities. Most of the transactions are NFT activities. They don't have a lot of bridging. They don't have a lot of interoperability. They still have network outages. And, you know, that's just, it is what it is. But they're certainly not dead. If they were dead, they would not be in the top 10. Long-term holder of Tezos. Never sold it. Always staking. Well, you should be pretty... I don't know what they ICO'd at, but it should be much higher now than before. Why would Helium move to Solana? That was kind of like a very controversial thing. I read because whoever one of the bigger backers of Helium, a VC, is also a VC of Solana and kind of forced them to do that. So that brought on a lot of controversy. And they did it right after FTX collapsed, which brought a lot of FUD to Solana. And that was actually like the absolute worst time to be doing it. You know, and wow, they almost peaked at $55 before. $55 down to $182. That's a lot. It's like 30x, 35x to get back to its previous high. I don't know. There was a lot of controversy around that move. Mike Guest, appreciate it. I don't really care for Tezos, so that's why I never speak on them. They had a very controversial controversial start. What do you think the odds are we are close to 30K tomorrow? You know, I think we can definitely see that. As soon as the FDIC announces they're taking over First Republic, I think that's when we pump above 30,000 again. I think that's a good catalyst to drive more people into Bitcoin. Or the downfall of staking on a self-custody wallet? Really none. None. Just remember, if you are staking, there are unlocking periods. Not everything unlocks right away. Some make you wait 30 days before you can unlock or unstake. So just keep that in mind. I think that's the only downfall, but that's it. Joseph, appreciate it. We won't know until Monday. No, I think they're going to announce it tomorrow. I think they're going to announce it tomorrow. They're not going to announce it on Monday. They want to announce it before the market opens. And they'll probably go just halt trading on Monday for obvious reasons. So I think that's going to happen tomorrow. Can you make a video showing us how to DCA? James, that's like saying create a video showing us how to breathe. What is there to know? You just buy on a schedule. That's it. Set an alarm on your phone every Friday or every other Friday or every other Monday or every month on a certain day. Set an alarm. And when that alarm rings, you go buy some Bitcoin and crypto. That's really all there is to it. Set a schedule. Tommy says, I'm working on my second BTC. I have no ETH. I hate to stop DCA BTC because I feel like I should stack ETH. You know, you could, again, going back to a video about DCA, you know, you could DCA into 2 crypto at the same time, right? It's not like you have to stop Bitcoin in order to DCA into another. You could do a 50-50 split, Tommy, if you don't feel like you have enough ETH. Steven, thanks for taking the time to chill and chat with us. Looking forward to your show daily. I appreciate that, Steven. Appreciate that. And Christian, appreciate that as well. First time super chatter. Do you think Zill Vet will 10x next bull run? I think they need to do a 10x just to get back to their previous high. So yes, certainly possible. I don't follow Zill that much, so I can't comment on too much on them. They're like they also had a rough, not start, but middle, let's just say. Zill's founders all left, and it was taken over kind of like by the lower generals. And their technology is not as advanced as others, but you know, they still have a crowd. Vet is still trying to break into more consumer-based stuff, retail stuff, DeFi stuff, right? Love to help them on that. Is it better to DCA with personal cash or take profit from coins and use that money? Both. Both. You could DCA with extra money that you're making, side money, hustle money, whatever that's extra. Or if you have that cash pile already in crypto, right? The profit pile, you could use that to DCA. It's the same. It's the same. It's up to you. I became a half Bitcoiner. I celebrated last night with some Blue Label. Clay, congratulations. But, you know, Blue Label, I would say, is safe for occasions that are greater than becoming a half coiner. It's quite expensive, too. You could have used that money to put more into Bitcoin, right? So I would say save that Blue Label until you became a whole coiner. that would be a more appropriate celebration. But congratulations, nevertheless. Rich is a whole pointer. Congratulations. All right, let's conclude. Rodrigo. So, what are the events that could send Bitcoin to 100,000? Well, more bank failures, and we will get another one for sure. First Republic, I've been warning you guys about that, and now Jim Cramer says that it's the end of the banking crisis. Well, we know Inverse Cramer is never wrong. That means this is just the beginning. And after First Republic, we'll probably hear more about other banks. I'm gonna go bookmark this because I'm almost positive we can refer to this down the road in a month or two, and we will see a lot more bank failures. I bet. I bet we will hear more. But in addition, what about the debt ceiling? If we can't solve that, it's going to drive Bitcoin much higher as well. So a lot of good stuff happening, guys. So stay strong and stay tuned tonight for the second episode of Full More Pass. And I'll see you guys tomorrow again at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care.